All right, today we're at Windrock. We're going to take a look at Dropout. But to get to it, we need to start on Talladega. And this is the intermediate side of the Talladega run-in. All rollable and pretty smooth right now because they just resurfaced it. That's the expert Ron. And this is where Talladega would go left and Dropout comes around to the right. This is the very beginning of Dropout, right after it peels off Talladega. It's nice we had a couple riders come by and kind of see what it looks like in motion. Not too steep here. And you know, there's definitely some chunky rocks and whatnot. But the trail surface doesn't have any really big surprises to kind of catch your wheel or make you feel like you didn't see a drop coming. It's just pretty bumpy. Other than that, let's roll straight through. I try and run this a little bit slower than I might normally so the camera can pick up the trail surface better. Thank you. This is the only blue trail on the mountain at the moment, except for that really smooth one that they just started building. But the new one, which is actually a true blue, is just at its early stages right now. So this is the only blue trail top to bottom right now. And it's always kind of had this natural feel to it. They don't groom it much. There really aren't a whole lot of features necessarily on this line, but this rock, I really do look forward to hitting this every time I run this trail. Really fun. And it's not too big, and it feels pretty natural. It doesn't really have an awkward lip to it. So I'm gonna get a little picture, you can kind of see the size. And a little locals tip here. If you stay high left, you can bounce right up onto Talladega. Some people like to do that, kind of mix it up on the way down. They don't groom it much. They kind of let the rocks and some of the natural terrain rule the trail feel. But everything is rollable. As far as the trail rating goes, I think at most trail systems, this would be more like a black diamond trail, just because of how rough it is. But here, compared to everything else, it's blue. Normally the trail goes straight and it has a little S-turn, but you can take this option, which I like a lot. Next up, we've got the rock drop that is at the end of that kind of shortcut through the woods line. And where you come off to where you're gonna land, it's about chest high down there. So it's not a huge drop, and it does feel like a very flat takeoff, even though it kind of, when you look at it, it looks like you might get scooped a little bit here, but you don't feel that at all coming off of it. And you do have plenty of room for a run out here, which I do appreciate. I like those little 3-foot rock drop kind of features, so any chance I get to hit one, I like to take it. And you can see this is pretty consistent all the way down. There are really only a couple little bits that have any sort of a significant change in feel from the rest of the trail. And one of those bits is coming up right here after this next turn. It's kind of a steep chute, probably the hardest small bit of trail on this run. Nothing nasty, but It is pretty chunky and steep. And now we're looking at that pretty rough chute toward the end. Just want to try to get a little bit of a sense of the grade here. You know, some of these are not big necessarily, but you do kind of get them one after another. So if you don't keep those feet planted well on the pedals, they do tend to bounce around a little bit. And when you come out of this, especially if you hold nice speed, you gotta be careful of this berm, because it's a really short berm and it won't take much speed. It's easy to kind of topside that. Once you get through that, you can kind of take a deep breath and relax, because the rest of this is pretty smooth. I'll go a little bit faster here since the trail surface is basically flat, at least through this bit. And now we're going to sneak up right behind where Talladega comes down the mountain. Talladega is that berm right there. And if you continue straight, this is the rest of Dropout. You need to be a little careful first time down on this set of corners. This corner is great. This one's a little spicy. So there's kind of a small area you need to hit. And here's the last bit of trail I want to look at on this line. Hopefully this will give a little bit better perspective than the POV of how technical this bit is. And this is that little bit of kind of a slot between these two rocks that you need to hit when you come around that corner. And since it is rough, I usually take this pretty slow just to make sure I hit that square. And then once you roll out of it, the rest of this really isn't too bad. You just got to make sure you navigate that turn correctly. So there's kind of a small area you need to hit as you roll down that. And this is definitely a little steeper and chunkier than the top section of the trail. So you will feel a little bit more of an aggressive trail surface here than what you felt up top. But hopefully the top section treated you well and you're ready for something a little bit more. And now we're just about at the common run out trail where everything in this section of the mountain ends up. And that would be right here. Since this is common and it's really not part of Dropout, I'm just going to run this at a pace that I normally would run it. Fun section of trail. You can really hold a lot of speed through here if you want. Of course, this is all really very smooth and flowy. Right there is where the old bike shop was, the container they used to run things out of. So if you haven't been here since then, this is all the new trail that was added to get over to the new bike shop and the new pickup zone. I love this sweet little option. It's really fun to ride. And down there's the pickup. And there we are, full of Dropout with the Talladega intro.